Another one.
Another one.
All right, guys. Nice little discussion we have planned for today. And this is what we're going to be talking about, babe. We know, and we have been there. We have been to the place where you feel so in love and you feel that nice butterfly in the tummy and the bottom of your belly. You know, we have been there. And oftentimes we see the signs, the subtle signs. We see the red flags, and we feel what we call the gut feeling.
Yes.
And we never take heed. We continuously go along with the hopes that this might become something magical. But we know that these things are signs, these things are telling us that the relationship that we are in, and sadly, some of these relationships are marriage. But guess what? With this conversation, we are not here to tell you about how to love, or he's the one or she's the one. We are here to mash up some relationships.
Destroy them.
We are here to tear down some relationships that in reality
should never did happen in the first place at the moment, at the time.
Exactly. So, hey, call it what you may.
Yes.
But by the end of this segment, if you're in a relationship, you will know if your relationship will stand the test of time. Because in this segment, we are going to tell you if the relationship that you're in is for you. And then, of course, it's your decision if you want to take heed or not. But this can save you years of emotional turmoil. So stick around. Stay tuned.
Our love isn't absent problems, but it sure is absent drama. You deserve this kind of love. Unfiltered Heart Talks with the Dawkins.
So often we have seen on YouTube where people talk about how to tell if
he or she is the one. Yes.
And sometimes, a lot of times we find that people ask these questions because everybody wants to know, how do I tell if the person I'm with is for me?
That's right. Especially if you've gone through a situation where things didn't work out. And you're very intentional where dating is concerned. You want to ensure that this one, whichever one it is going to be the one for you. Right. So you go on, if you're like me, you scour online, you read the comments, you watch those videos by the psychologists and everything, to ensure that this one is it.
And in reality, sometimes I question, can anyone tell you if someone is for you? Because a lot of times, and listen, guys, listen, this is no book. We're not reading from books, and we're not telling you psychological notes. We're speaking from
experience,
personal experience.
Yes,
been there,
done that.
Right? So a lot of times I question, how is it possible for someone to tell me if the person I'm with is for me? I don't even know if that's possible.
You can't go wrong by telling somebody to use time as your tool to measure whether or not this is going to last or not.
So at the end of the day, the decision or the onus is on me to know if the person that I'm with is for me, right? So look, guys, I've been there. I've seen the subtle signs.
Subtle as they are.
As subtle as they are. And you are so in love.
Or you believe you're in love, or it's infatuation. Because sometimes it's not even love, it's sex. It's infatuation. It's obsession. Is it love or is it something else?
Or is it just, sex? But a lot of times you just feel like, oh my God, this you just feel so in love, and you're seeing the subtle signs. You are and we can talk about some experience. Like, we have heard of an experience. Someone shared an experience with us recently,
yes,
where they were with this person, and each time they go out, the woman would always just sit
and
wait
expect that
and
everything
expect
would be paid
for
by
you know.
yeah.
And while there are some men who willfully just take care of all the financial responsibilities, there are other men who are looking for a partnership,
That's
and
right.
nothing is wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
I always share this with you that if I'm with someone and I see her making efforts to pay for stuff, in reality, she might never have to pay for anything in the near future, because that just tells me that this is a woman who will have my back. And this is not me teaching women how to be deceptive to men.
Right?
You know,
No,
yeah,
please
be
don't.
yourself.
Be yourself.
And be realistic. But for me, if I'm dating and I see someone like she's making effort to do certain things, that just tells me that, yo, this is a woman who I can really build with.
Yeah, you
And
can really build
you
it.
know,
She's
and
not just about me, myself, and I.
I'm pouring into her and
She's pouring into
me.
you.
You know,
Yes.
and in reality, that might just boost my ego to just, hey, hold on the fort, and she takes care of nothing. You know. But we heard that about that experience recently, and that was just a sign for this person. They thought that this individual was the person for them,
Yeah.
but that was just a subtle sign.
That was a subtle sign. I helped them to understand that was not.
That was not.
On the point of subtlety, there are a lot of subtle things that we experience that we sometimes brush off.
Right.
And one of them, one big one, is feeling drained in the person's presence. When the person's away, you feel relieved. But after it being in their presence, you feel you're just drained in their presence. And I've had that experience. Yeah. I've had that experience in my past marriage. When he was around, I was drained. When he was around, when he was gone to work, whenever he had a job,
right,
I was happy that he was away. You see, on the weekends, I felt drained. When he left, I'd clean the house, I'd cook, I have energy. Yeah. But when he's there, my energy is zapped, completely zapped. And I could not understand why. So that is, it's a subtle sign. I don't even think that's subtle. If you feel zapped in somebody's presence and when they're gone, you have energy.
Then that's
So that's something you don't want to ignore. If you are in the presence of this person and you feel drained, you feel zapped, you feel completely dead inside, that is a subtle, not so subtle sign that you need to get up out of there.
That's a telltale
sign. It's a definite telltale sign.
Yeah. You know, and in reality, if you're around someone and you can't feel that peace
and safety and joy. I'm not saying you're not going to have no problems, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're just around this person and you're like, oh, you start
even if there's not an argument,
you start questioning
you're just drained.
Your worth, your value, everything.
Oh, God.
You know, that's just a telltale sign that this might not be a situation that I want to get myself tied down in.
Absolutely.
You know, another thing that people need to take note of as well, if you're in a relationship with someone and they say one thing, but their action predicts something else or portrays something else, that's another sign that this person is not a person of their word.
They're not a person of their word.
And there's this saying, a man is no more than
his word.
Yeah, and not only to a man as in the male, but it also applies to the woman
as well.
If you talk about something and you just constantly keep talking about the same thing, and every second it's an argument that is built up over the same issue that you have been talking about for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months continuously, you might just need to dip.
Hit the road, Jack.
You might just need to dip.
And babe, I'm going to just pause right here because a lot of people might be wondering. Somebody actually commented on our TikTok saying, why are you guys always talking about your past? We believe there are lessons, pivotal lessons that we have learned from our past that someone on this platform in our community can benefit from. If something from my past has taught me a valuable lesson that someone else can learn from, so that they don't end up on the same road I went on, I am willing to share that. I'm a better person for it. You're a better person for the past. Yeah. We have learned valuable lessons. So these past, like
we are going to share
we're
them.
gonna share them.
So this is what I would say. If you don't want to hear us talking about our past, maybe
Hit the
this
road,
place,
Jack.
maybe Unfiltered Heart Talks
Is
just
not for you.
and it's okay. We understand. So if you want to go over to another podcast that talks only about their present and future, hey.
We are only people in for.
But if it's not for them, it's not
if
for
we
them.
don't want to sit down and fast and comment, we don't fast and comment,
it's not for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep it real here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have experiences. We're not just talking based off of, the cotton candy experience of life. We have experienced life. This is not, oh, we read something. We've experienced life.
Yeah.
And if those lessons can be of value to our community, we will continue to present them over and over again in hopes that one person will choose a different path, that one person will make a better decision when it comes to love and relationship.
And hey, another big one that was, this thing was prominent in my past relationship. When you have to lower your standards.
Yeah, you spoke about that in one of our videos or previous videos.
You have to give up core values just to facilitate the person's behavior, or just to facilitate the person themselves.
Because they went through a hard time in a past relationship. They lose respect for you.
Broken people, leave them alone. Let them heal from that trauma before you get... If you meet someone and they just came out of a relationship, or they're going through a divorce or something like that,
leave them alone.
Give them time to heal. At least a year or two,
absolutely.
I would say. To heal. Men sometimes deal with moving on faster than women.
I wouldn't say so.
Well, I believe so, because some men 2-3 months.
It doesn't, and guys, not necessarily, because the thing is, you can jump to another relationship. That doesn't mean you're over your past relationship. You see what I'm saying? Guys tend, I've from what we know, from the general information we know, guys are sometimes more quick to move on and head into another relationship. That doesn't mean that internally they have gotten to some equilibrium. It just means that they've chosen to move forward externally. Women process it internally, and it may take a while, but when they move on, they move on. Not every woman and not every man, not generalizing
from my personal
here.
experience, if I'm done with something, I'm done. And I'm moving on. Like, there is no emotional attachment. And I think you can tell, like, there's a lot of things that you might have emotional attachment to, like colognes, songs and stuff like that, smell and stuff like that. For me, it's completely
We're going to bring this to the light. I remember, not perfectly, but I can still remember the cologne, the bod that you used in high school. You used to use a black one, and at some point you used a blue, but the silver, you used to use a silver one. If I should smell those today, I'd probably think of upstairs at Victor Dixon High School, somewhere in the hallway, right? I would remember them, right? I personally, and any woman can listen to this and agree with me. Yes, we know a perfume is a perfume, but me personally, let's say my stepdad or my dad wears a certain cologne. I'm not going to want to get that for you, personally.
Right.
I've registered that with my parent, right? I'm not going to want to get that for you. It's not that it's she's too emotional or too anything. I'd want to build something unique between me and you.
Right.
So when you smell that, you smell me. It was a pet peeve of mine in high school. After PE, there's this girl named Shanique. Shanique. We don't want to spray up everybody with fair and nice, a little cheap perfume. I didn't want to smell like any of those girls, even though I'm just a PE. You know why? Because I wanted you to register my smell as my smell and not think about Shanique or any other girl. Yeah. So when they're in a bathroom, I share perfume, I share this and that, I did not want it, because guess what? When you smell me, I should smell like a different person. They must smell like one another. Me must smell like me. Me don't want every one of the guy them smell like you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which is understandable.
Yeah, it is very understandable.
Honestly, if I was supposed to smell those, I wouldn't remember.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many colognes that I've used, or perfume, whatever it is. I'm not so technical about what men use and women use, but there are so many I've used in the past, and I honestly can't really remember what these things smell like. So
Yeah.
like
I can't
like
remember,
that
but
is,
if I smell it, I would
yeah.
think that, yo, this smell like,
Mm,
you know?
I do believe that there might be some level of attachment psychologically.
Psychologically,
Yeah,
absolutely.
psychologically.
Let us know, guys.
Yeah.
Let us know
There
the
might be.
fragrance conversation.
Yeah.
Another subtle sign you are not supposed to be in a relationship. And it's the biggest one. I stress it in every single video.
Yeah.
You are not your authentic self in
Yes,
that
we talk about
relationship.
that a lot.
If you are a bubbly, outgoing person
Mm-hmm.
and you get into this relationship and your spirit is dampened, it's zapping your energy.
Yeah.
You do not want to be in that relationship. And I'm not talking about the giddy-headed kind of excitement,
Right.
you know, that you'd have in your early teens, right?
But you just can't be
You're
yourself.
just not yourself
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
You're not yourself anymore. I remember I experienced that.
Right.
So much so that when people saw me coming back to my real self, you know, the way I dressed, my energy and everything, they're like, wow, there she is. Welcome back.
Yeah.
My aunt, she said, welcome back.
Yeah. And just to add to
Big up
this,
Auntie Pat.
just to add to this too, because oftentimes when women talk about not being themselves where relationships are concerned, sometimes you will have women who talk about, oh, he doesn't want me to dress a certain way. Look,
Not
if-
talk about
if you-
provocation, any
if
form
you're
of that.
dressing provocatively or you're a club girl and he doesn't want you to go to the club, or if for the guy, you know, if you're a club guy and that's not what we're talking
That's not what we're
about.
talking about.
You know, we're talking about being your authentic self, just being who you are as a person, good character, good energy, good spirit, good vibe. You know, that's what we're talking about. Like for you talk about how you used to sing, but in that past
Yes,
relationship,
I couldn't sing.
you couldn't sing.
It's almost, and I
You know-
remember one time I went to this prayer house,
Mhm.
and one of the ladies, she was praying over me, and she's saying, like, no, don't let nobody take your voice. I don't know what ended up say, but
Right.
honestly, she was just saying to me, you know, like, you have something to say. Don't stop singing. Don't stop. Almost like that woman, she could discern that my spirit was being dampened. My voice was being taken away. I remember I couldn't sing. When we got separated and was going through the divorce process, and I started singing again, my son would see me cry sometimes because I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy, and it feels so freaking weird. I would start singing and I start breaking down and crying. Not because it's a sad song or anything, but wow, I'm singing again. I'm regaining myself. I am happy again. I'm at peace again. So him seeing that, my little baby boy seeing that, I'm sure he was like, yo, what's happening to mommy? What's going on? Mommy is actually for the first time experiencing joy and being,
Wow.
you know? So you don't want to ever find yourself in a relationship or subject yourself to a relationship where you are drained, you are zapped, you cannot be your authentic self. I mean, not talk about no wild broke out business. If you're wild and broke out, you need to be put under subjection because them is something that need to come down now.
Or he might need to leave, or she might need to leave.
But you know, if who you are is healthy, normal, and whole, and the person that try to trap you down and drain you of that,
you need to go.
You need to leave.
You need to go.
You need to leave.
You need to go. You need to pack your bags.
And you know what? Let me tell you something.
And go. Get on the road.
I remember one time I was in bed, laying down, listening to this man. If I find him out, you know, we can drop him in the video. He talks, he's married for a while now, and, you know, he encourages women from a father's perspective of what not to entertain from men. He was the one who introduced me to the whole idea of flying monkeys, right? And I remember listening to him one night, stay up way into the night listening to this man. And everything he was saying was exactly what I was going through. And I knew I shouldn't have gone back. But me, I said, maybe no, sir. Maybe this.
Yeah,
So guys,
crazy.
if this video is giving you, is convicting you in any way,
yeah,
if it's
crazy.
convicting, I was convicted and I still went back.
Yeah.
If you are being convicted in any way by anything we are saying, you need to get up and get out, no matter how hard it is, because the longer you take to get out of that situation,
the more
emotional damage is gonna get to, and it may get to physical damage. You do not want to do that to yourself. Get out. now.
Yep. And you know, as I shout out, blurt out, emotional, delusional, not emotional. Yo, I was delusional, and I
Yeah,
can say
you.
that. You know, it's not something I'm proud of. I wish I had followed the signs. You know, even if I was stupid enough to stay despite the fact seeing the subtle signs, like me pray prayer,
And you get the
and
answer,
me get the
the
answer, and
exact.
still go back go sit down in another situation like me not understand. Like me not understand. Like, boy, love I want wicked things still now.
Why? Me not think
Love
a
is not wicked.
delusion.
Love is
No,
not wicked,
because
but
because
you know,
by definition,
love is good.
no.
Of course, love is good. You know, but trust me, sometimes being in love will, yo. But anyway, as we talk about the emotional turmoil, let's look at the emotional. I mean, I don't want to say compatibility. I want to look at the emotional suitability versus the emotional chaos, the emotional turmoil. You know, when you talk about that, oftentimes we stress the whole idea. As you drink, let me grab my glass. Oftentimes we stress the whole idea of emotional suitability. Feels good.
I love it.
Emotional suitability, guys, and I remember when we first talk about suitability and not compatibility. You know, a lot of people had their difference of opinions when it comes to compatibility versus
Versus
suitability.
suitability.
Yo, and as we said, you can be compatible with someone and you are
And not
not suitable
suitable.
for them. You know, a lot of people are compatible, but they are not suitable. You can marry somebody and live out the rest of your life in peace. I strongly believe that.
Absolutely.
But you know, mean say you're not a person that's suitable. Like one thing for me, I don't want to love with regret.
That's right.
I don't want to be with somebody and then I'm thinking about someone else.
Mm.
I want to know that I'm with the person who is suitable for me. Because guess what? You see, while some people might be able to hold down the fort despite the fact that the relationship is not suitable, a lot of people can't do it. It might bring a whole different ball game of challenges and frustration and tension and arguments and all of these things, you know. But when we talk about emotional compatibility or emotional suitability, when you're with this person, you can truly experience oneness. And I'm not talking about oneness as and I have the same goals and dreams and aspiration. I'm talking about you find someone who gonna cut from the same cloth as them always say about me and you.
Yep.
Like me and my wife, we are so emotionally suitable and compatible, you know, in every aspect of life. And we're not talking about faith. We're not
Yeah.
talking about
Because
church.
compatibility and suitability does not stop at faith.
Yeah, it does not stop at faith. We're not talking about equal, as someone talk
Equally
about
yoked
being
and
equally yoked, going to the same church. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about being with someone who you can feel emotionally safe with, you can be vulnerable with, and know that your vulnerability will never ever be taken for granted or
or
be,
used as a
be
weapon
used as a
against
weapon
you.
against you. You know, you feel that constant joy of being with somebody, not just for a time or for a moment, but you can, when you're at a place in your life when you can really look on this person like your Barney and she can look on you like our client, you know? Like that's a deep love, like ride and die, or ride or die.
No.
Through
Let,
thick
you
and
know,
thin.
me and you, we're not going to ride or die. We're going to ride and thrive.
Ride and thrive. I
Ride
like
and
that.
thrive.
Yeah,
It's nice, not true.
this is good.
It's good.
Yeah, but you know, that's a thing where you talk about emotional suitability and compatibility. You want to know that you are one with this person in every
Absolutely.
sense, every aspect of life. Even if I have different dreams, you know,
They
she
somehow
support
complicate,
your dream,
yeah, they
he's
complement
supporting
each
you,
other. Yes.
complement, both pouring 100% into each other, not 50-50.
No reserve.
No reserve. You know, if you are with someone who you cannot be 100% vulnerable with, That's a problem.
It's a complete problem.
That's a problem. I should be able to be vulnerable with you as a man, because men don't like talk about them emotions. But as a man, I must be able to come to you with any and everything and know that I'm going to a place of comfort. When me day out there on the street, or
and out there smile and you scrub your face. You're supposed to come home and be able to
I may have to deal with that tension. Like all of that drama, that chaos that I have to deal with out in the working world, whether it be whatever profession I am in. I should know that when I go home to my wife, I'm going home to a place of comfort,
and a place
and
of
vice
peace,
versa, and a place of peace, and vice versa.
Tobacco, you're talking about the ability to be vulnerable, emotionally vulnerable in your relationship. That is so important. A lot of people just stick with, we go to the same church and we're sexually attracted to each other and that's it. And that does not hold up for very long. It doesn't hold up for very long. The peace I experience in a relationship with you, the peace you experience in a relationship with me, that is what you want. You want to be able to bear your heart, your mind, your soul to someone, and they're there to listen, to nurture you back to health, to comfort you, to shelter you. That's what you want in a relationship. You don't want somebody who is going to judge you or tear you down or hold everything against you. And you don't want that. You want peace. And honestly, women value that so much, that emotional security and safety.
Right.
If you give a woman that, if you give a woman that,
do I give you that?
What? Why ask me that again?
Do I give you that?
Give me what? Emotional
security.
Yes.
Safety.
You know, say you always get boom boom. Babe, you get anything you want,
guys.
No, but like it's serious.
That one caught me off guard.
No, but like babe. Let me tell you something. And this is for the gentlemen out there. If you want to get any and everything from her, make her feel emotionally safe. Not just feel it. Make it solid in her mind.
Yeah.
Make she feel it, make she see it, make she smell it, make she taste safety. And she will give you the world. If you not give her that, she going to have her guard up, she going to do this, she going to do that, she might even hurt you. You have to make her feel safe. And men are not machines. They are human beings too. They want to feel safe. Then go out there and then battle the world. They battle the world. They have to deal with people. They have to deal with disrespect out there or whatever. And them face screw up the whole time they're out there. They want to come home. They want to be vulnerable with you too. They're not machines. They want to experience that as well. So that needs to come both from you as the woman and it needs to come from you as the man. When you do that, we're going to give each other that.
And for
paradise.
And for men who don't like to talk about their emotions or don't know or understand how to be in tune with their emotions, it's hard for them to offer emotional security
to a woman. Yeah.
So for us men, we have to really understand that emotional side of us to be able to understand it when we see it within our woman. There's another thing that you should look for, guys: the emotional inconsistency. When you're with someone who this moment, relationship nice and them love you and you say, yeah, this is what I want to experience. But there come another time when the hot and cold. Sometimes the person is lovey, and then there's another time when you're wondering like, who are you? I know what that feels like from personal experience. Like all of these things that I'm talking about are things that I've
You've
been
experienced
through in one single relationship. And all when my brethren tell me, say, boy, you need to lift up, as we say in Jamaica, lift up. Take away yourself.
Walk with grace.
Run.
Not even walk, run.
Still I sit down and I say, boy, no man, she can't change, or she might have said, no man, he's going to change. No, once you're seeing these things throughout the relationship. And another thing, as you talk about the emotional inconsistency, every minute on a breakup,
Break
every
up and back
minute
together. Break up and back
yo.
together.
And I
Sad.
said this, but I don't remember which episode we did, and I said it on if you break up one time, move
Take
on
it
with
as
your
a
life.
sign and move on with your life.
Yeah. If you're with somebody and you truly value that relationship, it will never go to the place of a breakup.
Mm-hmm.
If it goes to the place where the two want to break up, boy, and they never did I put in much the work, or probably somebody never said the value in the relationship.
Exactly.
To put in the work, the time and investment to ensure that it never reach to that place. Personally, for me, if you break up one time, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't go back.
Yeah.
Do not go back. For women, if you have to leave this guy one time, do not go back. Do not go back.
True.
No second chance.
No
All if you
second
have
chance.
15 picnic feet. Even if you have 15 children for this one man, if the relationship brings you to a place as a woman where you have to pack your things and leave, do not go back.
Don't go back.
Because guess what?
Nobody
You
no
see that
run from
one-
good.
You see that one,
Nobody don't run from good.
say it in English.
No one runs away from good.
Love that. You see that? See that? That's all? That
Mm-hmm.
that is the that are gonna be the shots. Right? That's all. But honestly, if you have to pack your bag and leave,
One
do not
time,
go back.
don't
do
go
not
back.
go back.
I've done the whole thing where I left and I went right back.
Wow.
Nothing changed. What people will do is play on your emotions. Be good. I remember one time in my past marriage,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna go to therapy, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And you
Empty
see empty promises. They'll fill you up with empty promises. They might go to one therapy session, or they might even lie about it. And they'll fill your head up with empty promises. And because maybe you have children for this person, you find yourself going back, and you actually go back. And as soon as you land back in their lair, nothing has changed,
Trauma
and everything
bond.
has gone back to the way it was. Nothing changed. It was all words. So ladies, if you have to leave one time, block, delete, move forward.
And if it moves to a place where both of you break up one time, just move on with
Just
your
move
life.
on with your life.
Move on in their life.
Learn, the lessons you learn, just keep them and move forward.
And move forward. And as you mentioned that you leave and you go back and there was nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
What you're doing basically is what we made mention of when we just started, where we spoke about you basically sacrificing, giving up your values, your morals, your standards, your
To facilitate
boundaries,
that person.
to facilitate that person. And if you have to do that in your relationship, you are losing yourself.
Yes.
Right? So
And you're losing respect for yourself.
yeah, they're going to lose respect for you.
And they're going to lose respect
They're
for you.
not going to see self-worth in you or value. And then you are going to be at a place where you basically just lose yourself, which
You
is
lose yourself.
everything that we spoke about. It's like a chain of reaction.
Yeah, you start resenting yourself
Mm-hmm.
because you got out and you find yourself back in that situation, but nothing had changed.
And you talk about, as I mentioned, you talk about the trauma bond, how it can feel like passion or the butterfly in your belly button.
love.
But in reality, it's just instability. The last thing I want to talk about is the whole idea of leaving. A lot of people will see the signs, and I have to say we, because I've been in it,
Yeah.
we do not develop the courage to just walk away.
It's the hardest thing to do, babe.
Yeah, and
It is the hardest
sometimes I
thing to
wonder,
do.
like, why the hell do people sit down in relationships knowing that this is not for me, knowing that this is not the suitable partner, knowing that this person is just not for me? I will still sit down and say we in love. Can we be so delusional to the point where we cannot
But it's
understand
also
that we just need to just pack the bag and walk away?
right.
Left it.
And just leave it.
Yeah.
I think we were taught from a very young age to doubt ourselves. So
That's
you're supposed to leave. You know this is not for you, but you're doubting whether or not you're right or not. You're doubting it because if you walk away and you're actually wrong, then you would have lost that relationship. So we have not been able to sit with ourselves long enough to be able to know what our worth is, what our values are, and to actually listen to our gut.
Right.
Listen to our intuition, listen to the voice of discernment that we've all been gifted with. You're not absent the spirit of discernment. You might just not have it much like sister so and so at your church, but we all have that small voice. It's the
gut
gift,
feeling,
the gut
and
feeling,
you see the
right?
signs.
But we don't trust ourselves,
Yeah.
because if we trusted ourselves, as soon as we see the slight washout color, the flag,
we
we would
move.
run.
Yeah, because again, number one, it does not stem only from one thing.
Yeah.
It's a number of things, and people usually show you their true colors, who they are,
Absolutely. And
over
you'll
a
see it
period of
cycle.
time.
It would
You know,
cycle.
you will see the cycle. And this morning, as we were having a conversation this morning, I said to you that I do not understand men and women who talk about, I was this with this person, and this person is the cause of this. Or sometimes we pass blame onto other people.
The victim
We
mentality.
play the victim, you know. And I always say, for the woman who talks about, or the women who talks about the guy not paying his child support, listen, face the fact.
Mm-hmm.
You knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
You saw the signs.
Yes.
The signs were obviously,
He was not
were
going to be there.
clear.
He just wanted some
there was
sex.
no commitment.
No
Listen,
commitment.
I say this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If there is no commitment when sex
Isn't you?
is given, there is no commitment when a baby is born. Women, listen this, and a lot of women might feel away. If the guy is not committed to you in a committed relationship, there will be no commitment. For the guys who talk about the women that cheat and shit,
You
like,
saw the
bro,
signs.
You saw the
You
signs.
saw she wasn't going to get out of
You
the
know,
club. You
you
saw
saw
that
the-
she you know,
Right, you saw
like you
that-
saw
you-
those
you-
things.
you get the baby.
They were subtle, as subtle as they were. Your gut told you something is slightly off, unless you
Right.
don't have no gut.
But
In that case, you need
have
to
this
wash
hope.
out.
You have this
I don't
hope
need to
up.
get wash out.
You have this hope up, or the faith factor. Yo, you see the faith factor, babe. We need to talk about that faith factor.
Absolutely.
We need to talk about the faith factor.
You remember I said it has nothing to do with relationship? It has everything
I believe so,
to do with relationship.
But yeah, sometimes a lot of guys, we see the crazy in the woman. But we still go plant seed, go have baby, and then when she a flings big stone in your car, mash out your car window, and a
Not
and
the
I
bad
put
girl that
ear
did want.
tag.
You
I
want
put
that
ear
bad
tag
D,
on your
right? You wanted
vehicle.
that, so you got
You
it,
know,
huh?
Like, people have to take responsibility. We talk about accountability. People have to become accountable and recognize that in your life, in my life, I have made a mistake. I saw the signs and I did not do what was necessary. I did not have the courage to walk away. Listen, guys, in this episode, we are saying that you need to develop the courage to walk away. Hey, if you plan to get married tomorrow, and let me say it in a part, let me say it in English. If you plan to get married tomorrow, and your experience, what we just spoke about in this video, run. Do not walk to that altar.
Do not tarry.
Run, right? Because if you experience this and you're still planning to get married, trust me, you are signing up yourself to years of emotional turmoil and chaos. Now, mind sharp, you end up. But on a serious note, guys, we spoke about these things, we have experienced it firsthand.
Absolutely.
Right? And this is how you know. These are some of the signs that you can follow. These are some of the telltale signs that you can use to know if the person you are with is for you. And if you're seeing these signs in your relationship, do not continue. Cease and desist.
Yeah.
You have anything else to say, babe?
Just trust your gut. Develop a strong gut. If you have to go take a washout, if you have to go change your diet, if you're going to have to detox digitally from social media to start learning what your values are and, what matters to you, do that so that when you make decisions, you can actually make critical decisions that would lead you in a path that you'd be proud of. Do whatever you need to do to be prepared to make the right decision, so you have no regrets and you don't have to go through no divorce.
Right.
That's all.
And if you guys want to know how to heal after a traumatic relationship, we have a video on that. We're going to put that video right there. You guys will be able to see. So check that video
right up here.
out. If someone values you, if they value the relationship, it will become a priority. and they will do everything in their power necessary to make the necessary changes to ensure that the relationship survives. If what you need to do to save your relationship or
It's
to,
nothing
or to create,
illegal.
create a healthier relationship is nothing illegal, then that's something that you must be willing to do as a man and as a woman. If one party is not willing to do what is necessary and good for the betterment of the relationship, there's the answer.
Don't let anyone tell you twice. My husband always say it.
Yep.
Don't let anyone tell you twice. What?
Them no want you.
Do not let anyone tell you twice that they do not want to be in a relationship with you.
Yeah.
If they've told you once, gracefully leave. Gracefully
You
pack
probably
up your
can,
things
you probably
and
can
leave.
make it
But
slide.
You can
one
make it
time.
slide one time.
One time.
But
if them say it a second time,
if they say it a second time, get it that it's a subconscious thought that has been resonating with them, and that's some deep-seated belief that they have that is coming through the mouth. There's a scripture that talks about
they
it.
think
Out of
about
the
it.
abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. It's something that's lodged within that person's heart. And also, ensure that the person that you're with wants to be there. You shouldn't want it 100% and they're just like 20%, Make sure so them want it too. But that's really it.
Guys, we want you to share your story anonymously.
Please, go
share
ahead.
your story. Like, share, subscribe.
Please.
And we will see them for
Another one.